Hi, good evening, everyone. It's great to be amongst some of the most intelligent people in the country, the so-called IITians. It's a great privilege to be in your midst and be sharing some of the ideas in which I truly believe in. Well, I'm not here to share anything that is, so to say, gyan or principles or whatever you want to call, but these are some of the principles that makes me happy, that makes me want to wake up every morning and do things that really, really gives me more enthusiasm to carry on the day. So I just want to turn my talk, the subject as I, me, and mine to what. And from here on, I'll follow a little bit of whatever I've been doing in the last 6-7 years after I got into the service. The world is very selfish today. It's a very selfish world, very competitive. You all must have gone through it, especially when you were writing what is that exam called? JEE. Well, I'm not trying to remind you all of those days where you had to slog so hard. But it's a very competitive world where if you don't overstep your best friend, or if you don't try by any means to get through, you're left behind. But in this process, I feel many of us miss one thing, that whatever we want to do, we try to get it by any means, but the meaning becomes an end in itself. And that is what I believe, that getting into the service, the so-called Indian Administrative Service, or the IAS, we study so hard to get into the system, to end up being in the system, and to just maintain a status quo. There's a joke. When we write the IAS exam, we're asked to write an essay on, say, dowry, against dowry. We write a beautiful 1,500 or 2,000 words. And we get through the exam. The day the result is declared, your value becomes different. I hope you all understand what I mean. The first day you sign up in the academy, the first thing you do is you will not do this, not do that, you'll be against dowry, whatever. Okay? We sign up so many things, but many of us ends up compromising to what we say and what we sign up that we will not be. So, I mean to say that in the process of trying to achieve the ends, many of us overlooked into by any means becomes which avoids and which is devoid of all the principles that you believe in. And for me, getting into the service, I wanted to make a little contribution in the process of nation building by following this principle which I truly believe in. And so I would like to share a little bit of what I believe in and why I get into the so-called Indian Administrative Service. And this is a little bit of what I did in the last, 2 years back, along with the contribution and help of all good friends all over the world. Don't think that, the world is devoid of good peoples. I have experienced myself, and I've seen that as long as you believe in yourself, as long as you are true to your heart, there are lots of good people around to help you up. So this was one of the projects I started thinking of doing it, and it transformed into reality. I grew up from this place. It's a very hilly areas, as you can see. The average altitude is 1,300 meters to 1,500 meters. It making a road, motorable road, is very difficult. So when I first came as a sub-divisional officer, SDM, or SDO as you like to call it, I came walking because there was no road to my there was no good motorable road to my sub-divisional headquarters and to the villages that I serve. So I came walking. The first thing the people asked me was, okay, since I grew up from that area, the first thing they asked me was, sir, you came walking. We have been walking this road throughout our lives. Now you've got into the IAS. For them, IAS represents a very big deal. So, what is the difference? You know, you said you've cracked into the IAS and you are a boss. You also came walking. We also do the walking every now and then. So that was a big challenge, and that was posed to me by one of the elderly men in the village. So I decided to sit down with them and reason together with them. Can you please turn on the next? See, it's important. I mean, can you turn back? Yeah, this one. So we sat down together. This was a smaller group. Sat down together with the villagers. We decided, what should we do first? I think many of us, not only the bureaucrats, but many of us miss this point. We always think that what we think is the best. We forget what is best from their side. You know, the first thing we do after we are being trained in the academy is, I've been trained so much, I've studied so much. Now I'm going to go and implement these ideas in the people. I think that is very wrong. It's very important to go and learn from them what they exactly need and how to start about. Once the idea is very strong, how to do it and where to get it, what to do, I think those are secondary. The primary focus, the primary thing is what is needed. The idea should be very strong. So after we sat down together of what is needed to be done, we took into confidence the entire surrounding villages. Then we started. Okay, since they demanded road, we sat down together and said, okay, we're going to do this road. Then how to raise the fund and all of this became not such a big deal anymore. Of course, it was a big deal, but it found its own way. To do this, once we started, next. It's important that you become one of them. If you start had I started looking at them as different people and starts directing them that you do this, you do that, well, I stand outside, I think they would have never patched up with me and they would have never cooperated. Can you imagine it? 150 people or 100 people or sometimes 200 people working out with their sped and their tools every day to walk on the roadside for continuously about 6-7 months. It was not very easy. We started it. I became one of them. I was always with them. This was on the construction site where we were having food on a banana leaves. This is just not for a show, okay? This was near a river bank where the road was being cut. So next. So this is how, I don't know whether you can spot me, the guy with a cap. So I was actually there with them. And this went on for quite some time, for quite about 6-7 months. Of course, I could not be with them every day because I have my other official engagement. So that is how we were able to inspire people to get the road going and get it completed. And well, you may not believe this. The paradox of this project is this. In a place where there is no electricity, in a place where there is no internet connection, what we did was we used every possible medium, from telephone to that time in 2012 when we started, I had no idea of WhatsApp, okay? I was using mostly Facebook. We used this channel to raise more funds. So I don't know the approximate amount that we collected, but I think it must be in terms of some crores. That is how we were able to channelize the funds to complete these projects. It's not that we begged or we asked from anyone. All we did was, once we started, okay, the beginning is this. You know, I have some 2,000 friends in Facebook. I calculated this way. Well, if I have 2,000 friends and each one of them contributes 100 rupees each, I have how much? Well, amongst these 2,000 friends, if at least 500 of them decide to give at least $1,000 each, how much do I have? So that was my confidence, and that's how we were able to carry on. But then, once we started, we posted every progress of the road being constructed on our page. Then more and more people came in, and that is how we were able to carry on with the project that we started. You can see, next. So this was on the inauguration. We had a big inauguration. People from more than 25 countries participated, in the entire process of the road construction. So I mean to say that, see, one thing was very clear. For me, I was not very interested in digging others' grave. I don't know whether you understand this or not, but I could have gone and asked people. I could have gone and waste my time in digging records why the road was never constructed. Of course, I did a little bit of research, but I just have 1 year to serve in the area. So I decided, okay, let me go on with whatever I can. I'll give my best. If the fund comes from the government, well and good. Let the government make a bigger, better road. But let me do whatever I can. Because I'm a part of the government, let me do whatever I can to contribute to the betterment of the people's life. So that was how we started, and we were able to complete it. Now, in the beginning, I say the topic is I, me, and mine. Now, I believe that, whatever reasons that gives me, I get so much of criticisms, believe me, from my very close friends, from many people, even from amongst those whom I consider my teachers or my guide. I get lots of brickbats. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, because I believe what I did was true to my calling. Instead of I was doing it for we. And instead of me, I was doing it for them. And instead of mine, I was doing it for ourselves. So in the end, I just want to say this. Instead of the thing that we do, irrespective of what we do, the bigger calling, the bigger reason for whatever we do, if we tend to look beyond I, me, and myself to for us, we, and ourselves, I think there will always be a bigger reason, a better thing for you and for me. And that will continue to drive us, give us a positive energy to change this world. When I was being called up to come and give this presentation, to be present here, the only thought in my mind was this. I'm interacting with the people who will be changing the future of the nation in the next 1, 2 years, 5, 10 years. So if we all can join hands to look beyond myself, I and mine, and contribute in whatever capacity, it doesn't matter whichever capacity you and I are. You are all an engineers, you will all be an entrepreneur. I'll continue to be in the administration, but irrespective of whatever we do, if we can look beyond ourselves, I think there is a big hope for the nation, and our nation is definitely going to come up. So that's an idea I thought and I believe truly is worth sharing. And thank you so much for having me.